Yes, we're getting bigger and bigger. Welcome to DedSec.
Brilliant. I'm not ready to go to pasture yet. Let's get to it.
Hey guys, what's going on? Nash here, and I'm joined by Sam and Gagan today. And today we're just going to basically talk about Watch Dogs Legion. Let's get to it. So I'll say this, if you like the first and the second game, you'll like this game. But if you were lukewarm on the game, just avoid this game completely, because not only is it just like more of the same, but I personally feel that Watch Dogs 1 was like the best game. Like, I like that game the most because it had, like, apart from that little edgy protagonist, they did combat, they did traversal, they did like a bunch of stuff really well. Whereas here, everything just feels like okay. It's not like, oh my god, dude, like combat's like so good, but it's not bad, it's serviceable. And again, like, you know, missions, when you're doing the same thing mission after mission after mission after mission, it kind of gets boring, because like I mentioned in my review, like the whole play as anyone is a great gimmick for like the first 5-7 hours, and then after that you'll just roll with what's most convenient. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just get this done with. But that being said, you know, different guys do bring different things to the table. So if you want to stealth, you can take a secret agent. If you want to go techie, you can get a hacker. I mean, that variety is there, but I don't think that variety is like really needed, because you can get by with any character.
Right. So how's London though? Like, how's the city that you're actually
Dude,
working
it's
in?
fucking phenomenal. It's made really well. Like, London looks great. Like, I've been to London like I think last 5 years ago, and whatever little bit I remembered, I was like, yo, this looks like what I remember. You know, it's not obviously the whole city because they had to condense it, but in a way, I don't know if you guys play that old Getaway game. Like, it feels like nice and dense. Like, the world is dense. It's packed, because that's how London is. It's not like big rolling hills and all that shit, right? So in that way, it's good, but the driving is atrocious. Like, I absolutely hated this, and I know Andre, who also is playing the game, agreed with me. And it's just too sensitive. You know, turn a little bit, and your car just like swerves like crazy.
Wow.
So you're not in control. It's like I'm driving on ice, but on crack. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like super, super sensitive and super, super like, it's just weird. Like, it doesn't feel nice.
How does it look though? The game looked really nice in the trailers and all. Does it? How's the end product?
So I played it on the PC, and dude, it was not a very well optimized game. So initially I thought it was just my PC, but it didn't run very well. Even though, and it's weird because this happened to a lot of people. In the benchmark, it shows you're getting almost 60 FPS, right? But in the game, it's a completely different story, because the benchmark is done in like a concealed, confined area. So when you're in these kind of areas, the game works great. You get your 60, 120 FPS, whatever. But when you're driving in London, dude, it's like sub 30.
Wow.
So
okay.
that transition between like driving at like really laggy, shitty frame rates to then going to Kadak 60 is feels a little weird. I do believe the game is getting a massive patch tomorrow, because there have been issues over at the Xbox version and the PS4 version as well. So I'm hoping they kind of fix this for PC users as well. But I will say this, like, if you got the hardware, you can brute force this game, you're in for a treat. Because like the game at night, you know, with all the ray tracing, which I couldn't activate, but like I can imagine how it looks. It's gonna look really, really good.
But you tell me one thing about the missions. Now you mentioned that there are different kinds of characters that you can choose.
Right.
So are there certain missions that are locked to only a particular type of?
No, you're free to take it at your own will. So the way it works is, if you guys seen the launch stream, you start off with one particular character, and then after the events of the intro, then the game the game kind of opens up, and then you can play as whoever you want. And I will say this, the game has literally lived up to that potential, because I was looking at every pedestrian on the road, and I could have recruited every single one had I wanted to.
Nice.
You could like literally recruit all of London. You know what I'm saying? And here's my big issue with the game, though. I'll tell you what. So, given the setting, given that it's London, given that it's like really techie, I was expecting like a Black Mirror-ish kind of vibe, you know, where it's like really dark, but also like high tech, but also like how fucked up humanity and tech can kind of work together in that sort of way. And there's just one mission that kind of, so I'm not going to spoil that mission, but there's just one mission that kind of goes down that path. But everything else is bog standard Ubisoft. Go to A, go to B, either rescue this guy or hack this data, come back and go home. literally every mission. And every mission has those hacking mini missions, the ones that I
Yeah.
really don't like. You gotta
Yeah.
connect the node from A to B. I hate those, bro. And then on top of that, they make them more complicated. And on top of that, they make a timer on that. And I was like, this is like too much.
So okay, tell me one thing. I've always been curious about it. Are there any like particular? Is there a limitation on what the people you recruit can do? As in, does it get more of the same with the different people you recruit, or
Yeah.
is there enough
Uh,
variety?
so the way it works is that the game has different tiers. I'm gonna call
Hmm.
it tiers, like tiers of NPCs. So you have like your grade A NPCs who are like really good at, and they got lots of skills. Like they may have 4 skills, like they may be good at combat. At the same time, they may have more health than your regular guys, and at the same time, they'll have like an SMG,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
great. Whereas some NPCs, they'll probably just have like they'll be able to knuckle brawl well, but that makes no sense when when you're in a gunfight, because weirdly you can't pick up guns from the floor or pick up enemies' guns. You have what
Okay.
you have, and that's it. So that's how they kind of locked it in, making you make that. I wouldn't say like choice. Yeah, it's more like a choice, making you make that choice. Like, do you want to roll with a guy who's really stealthy but then he only has a pistol, or do you want to roll with someone who's maybe not that stealthy but has an SMG? Because if I was a guy who could pick up almost anything off the floor, like a shotgun, an AR, or an SMG, that choice would not matter to me.
Yeah, I
You know what I'm
guess.
saying? So I think the whole game is based around that, and I dig that. I respect that. It's pretty cool, like I said. But it just doesn't feel like, oh, I should have rolled with another character. Oh, I should have maybe got this character, because almost always I could just get by with any character. Yes,
Okay.
it was a matter of convenience sometimes if I had the construction guy, because he can get this auto drone, and I can just cargo drone. I jump on that and I can literally fly over fucking London. So what happens is, in cases where gates are locked and you have to like figure out how to bypass the thing, I just fly over that shit. It's convenient. So I was like, okay, cool. In this case, I'm glad I have this guy. Or I would have had to basically hack into a camera, maybe hack the laptop, get the code there, or do that hacking mini game. So
Hmm.
it was a matter of convenience, but it never felt like, fuck, I'm at a hard pass. Now, whether that's good or bad, that's on you personally. But for me, I didn't like that too much, because it just didn't make me feel like choosing any more than.
So, you know what? We've been talking about this for months now, and we've also been speculating that if this game doesn't work, it's probably going to be the last game in the Watch
Death
Dogs
of the
series.
franchise, yeah.
Yeah, so like now we've seen the review ratings. Mostly it's around the 7.5
Right.
ballpark. So, what do you think? Does it have a future now?
Dude, honestly, right now I can't say, because the next gen versions are not out yet, and they promise those with 4K and 60 FPS. And given that you don't have a lot of like baller first party titles, this could kind of coast on that. And in December, they're coming out with the multiplayer update. I don't expect that's going to last forever, but it'll definitely boost the game to a certain extent if they do it well. So I say the earliest you can know whether Watch Dogs is a failure or a commercial success or whatever would be maybe in a couple of months from now. It's not going to be immediately obvious.